Alright, your New York air brake CCCB system, Bnsf contract CCC brake equipment maintenance manual IP 157C for the Dash 9 locomotives operated with the Burlington Northern Santa Fe, June 1999. List of effective pages, table of contents: 1. Operating procedure: air brake equipment, air brake and air brake compartment, brake valve loss of power mode, power up penalty, general information, CCB introduction. System description: operational release position, brake cylinder pressure control, service application, automatic brake cylinder control, automatic suppression position, handle off position, emergency application, fireman's valve, the emergency action application, train separation, automatic application, bail off, trail position, automatic brake, trail position, emergency brake, trail position, any emergency application release, train operation, bail off, independent application relief for the trailing, independent brake, loss of power to default mode with the service penalty, default with independent brake backup trailer operation, automatic service application bail off with the backup of the trailing operation, emergency application bail off, backup of the train operation. 2. Equipment description, component descriptions. 3. General preparation for maintenance, general information, safety precautions, company assembly precautions. 4. Schedule inspection, general information inspection, 92-day inspection, equipment release and repair and overhaul. 5. Checkout and analysis, general information, functioning testing on locomotive single car testing, procedure code, test with the locomotive computer control brake and equipment system procedures, troubleshooting. 5.3. General information troubleshooting chart. 6. Equipment release, equipment replacement, general information, replacement procedures, general procedures, DIT valve replacement, brake valve control, or computer relay unit, pneumatic control unit replacement. 7. System equipment. 8. GE, BNSF fault codes. And it shows a list of abbreviations. And that continues. Alright, Chapter 1, Operating Procedure, air brake equipment, the computer control brake with the computer control brake, equipment that arranged with a single and multiple unit operation, using the locomotive principal parts to solve the air brake equipment and air brake equipment, single figure 1, location equipment, the air brake equipment, see figure 1, 2 with the brake valve controller, handle position, figure 1, 3 with the pneumatic control unit, valve location, see figure 1, 4 with the computer relay unit, components, location. Alright, this shows, let's flip the view. Alright, you have your pneumatic controller, computer relay, CRU, rack assembly, DIT valve. We'll flip this back over that way. Your computer control, BNSF control locomotive maintenance, reverse release full, top view, emergency CS supplemental, FS minimum release. And it shows pneumatic control PCU unit. That's what that looks like. Alright, 24 filter, magnet valve divider, relay divider, signal condition, VCU, central process transducer, analog digital time delay, communication diagnostic, fiber oxygen, IO, BC controller, emergency release control, emergency air control, computer power supply. Alright, 112 brake valve. Operating the automatic handle with the brake valve controller handle to operate with the through 6 to 10 control position relief, minimum reduction, full service suppression, handle off of the emergency. The service between the minimum reduction, full service position, indicating play with the providing indicating 6 operating positions. When charging a train, will leave the automatic brake application, automatic brake valve controller handle must be placed in the release position close to the engineer. When making the service brake application, the automatic brake valve controller handle the wave with the engineer against the first attempt. The quadrant with the minimum of the reduction pass position with the 5 to 7 psi reduction necessary to increase the reduction. Move the handle progressively away from the engineer, bearing in mind that the further the handle is moved with the service dome, the greater will be the reduction. Brake valve itself with at any point with the movement of the handle stop with the service dome, they automatically maintain normal brake pipe leakage. Full brake service application obtained with the moving of the valve control handle of the full service position against the second position, quadrant brake cylinder pressure of the valve, so full service 5864 psi, with the third to 10 suppression in position over speed with the control safety control applications are suppressed, equalizing reservoir bike pipe and BC pressure does not charge with the full service position self lapping over reductions are possible. Moving the handle to the suppression position, handle off position, placing the handle off with the 4 to 10 requires the equalizing pressure over the BC pressure, brake charge pressure increase with the emergency setting. Emergency brake is retained with the brake valve control handle handle to the extreme rear of the quadrant emergency position. Brake pipe reduces rapidly with a 0 psi equalizing reservoir reduces 0 to slower rate. Brake charging pressure indicate the emergency setting. Bail off of the automatic brake application of the locomotive accomplishing lifting of the bell ring over the independent brake valve control handle. Locomotive brake handler pressure will reduce the valve corresponding to the position and brake valve handle. Alright, operating independent brake with applying with the locomotive the independent brake move the independent handle away from the engineer with the full independent application of the extreme rear position. When relieving the move of the handle with the torque of the engineer, the brake valve will self-lap of the position applicate for the zone of the handle movement has been stopped, making the independent relief of the automatic brake application of the bell ring onto the independent brake valve with the control handle of the brake and locomotive brake cylinder pressure will be reduced to the valve corresponding to the position with the independent handle. The independent brake valve handle should always be in a release position close with the engineer unit, trailing unit, and multiple unit consisting of being towed and dead. Air brake set for the function condition locomotive with the lead cut in and lead cut out with the trail is accomplished through the function key of the IFC computer. For set up the lead and single unit with the multiple unit other locomotives ensure that all the trail all units are in trail before attempting the setup of the locomotive lead. Place automatic brake and release the independent brake in the full application. Go to air brake IDU screen, press the F3 key. Go to get the operator function screen with the F2 key with the air brake setup option. The F4 with the independent brake lead with the save with the confirm between with the F7 choice. Ensure the brakes pressure increase it again. Air brake set up with the check for the proper feed valve with the pressure. F1 with the reduced pressure. F2 lower pressure is required. Equalizing reservoir pressure for the greater of the brake pipe pressure for the cut in automatic brake pressure 55 F3 saving count selection F7 with the twice for the observer for the brake pipe pressure has covered the equalizing reservoir pressure. Independent automatic brakes now in cut in with the F8 except the return of the IDU screen. Control of the normal set with the replace for the reverse handle with the position, protect and switch to the lead locomotive operation. For setup of the trail unit, ensure the throttle is in position. Reverse handle that has been removed. Fully apply independent brake in the place of the automatic brake and full with the equalizing reservoir brake pressure for the exhausting. Go over the air brake at the top of the IDU screen and then press the F3 key to get over the operational function screen. Then press the F2, the air brake setup options. After the brake pipe ceases, place the independent brake in the full release and select with the trail and the press F4. Save and confirm the selection. Pressing F7 twice. Automatically independent brakes are now cut in. F8 with the return of the IDU screen with the place for the automatic brake handle when the handle off position. Continue normal setup of the position, protecting the switch of the trail locomotive trail operation. Do not turn off the brake with a computer controlled brake. Loss of power mode. In determining the computer controlled brake of the equipment must be then placed in dead in tow. The unit must be in dead in tow position onto the AB circuit breaker located with the engine control panel with the computer controlled brake system automatically conditioning the trail operation. No manual setup to require the automatic backup of the control valve, the DIT valve, the functions, and provide the automatic service taking off the bailing off the independent brake with the pneumatic control unit, provide the pneumatic emergency braking. In the morning, automatically shift the brake of the operator with the degraded mode. Brake with the cylinder pressure will be less than normal of the computer controlled braking operating for the full surface of the brake application. The bail off the way must be able to depress for 20 seconds. 114, power of the penalty. Whenever the air brake circuit with the first club with the lead with the computer controlled brake with the apply with the penalty for the brake for the 30 seconds for the equalizing reservoir reduce zero with the brake type reduced to about 10 psi. Of the brake valve controller handle with the suppression position. The brake valve controller handle must be in the suppression position 10 seconds of the release of the system. In addition, with the original 30 seconds to move the brake valve of the control handle to the release position, reach out of the brake system. The brake cylinder pressure must reduce 0 to psi before the computer regains the computer control of the brake cylinder. General information: computer controlled braking introduction. Computer controlled braking equipment is complete with the microprocessor brake control with the main locomotive. The switcher for the equipment is fully capable of the 2.6L brake schedule equipment to provide flexibility capable of the future expansion, all the logic and other emergency brake initiation computer controlled. Refer to figure 1.5. The operator coming in with the computer controlled braking controller with the brake control with the making means mainly electronical soup with the computer with the position automatic independent braking lead trail pipe brake pipe cutout modes of the set for the IFC board on the board computer regulating valve setting is factory set. Computer software can be adjusted for the IFC between 60 and 110 psi with the only pneumatic valve with with the brake valve with the mechanically actuated emergency vent valve. Vent valve is open in emergency position. The computer interprets with the signal brake control with the pneumatic control unit with the actual development of the pressure. All control pressure is developed in the manner of the brake pipe and independent application release position actuating brake cylinder. Computer also aids control locomotive the interface with the relays by knockout dynamic interlocking emergency standing and spotter control. The voltage condition circuitry isolate the locomotive battery supply with the system as well as providing extreme power operation characteristics. The DIT brake up of the BC brake charge control operator that provides service with the automatic brake cylinder pressure with the air brake circuit with the breakers open. Alright, and then we'll go to this view. Alright, this shows your computer controlled brake equipment, the IDFD primary and secondary displays, IFC CCC brake valve control C or port. Locomotive low voltage supply, operator auto and independent hand commands, a computer relay, microcomputer I/O isolation, pneumatic control board, TL relays, magnet valve, electropneumatic pressure with the transducer, pneumatic control unit, dead end engine, fixture, brake cylinder, brake pipe, independent application release, actuating pipe, emergency stand, alarm, main reserves, auxiliary reservoirs, 10 pipe reservoir, DIT valve backup, second main reservoir. Alright, system description. Computer control brake and equipment is capable of the conventional 26th L with the brake and equipment function operate for the handle position, locomotive self with the pressure for the development of the flow rate for the remains. Same with the chain with the 26th L with the curve with the how with the air pressure for the control with the type of the equipment, U with the control with the brakes. Also, a major enhancement of the ability of the diagnose problem system operation pressure for the main reserve of the 130 to 140, emergency reserve of the 90 plus or minus 1 psi, brake pressure with the 1 plus or minus 1 psi with the emergency reserve brake charge 58 64 psi full service normal backup system 48 51 psi brake charge 75 to 79 emergency brake backup system 54 77 PSI automatic brake system feature as with the 26L the brake system and the computer control braking system control the locomotive the train brakes with the control of the train line brake pressure control of the brake pressure performance for the development of the brake cylinder pressure for the both of the locomotive and train control of the brake pressure accomplished with the control with the smaller volume of the cold equalizing reservoir pressure is produced with the applying of the brakes increasing directly with the regulating valve setting with the fully released brake with the brake cylinder pressure that develops at a controlled rate of 2.5 times the full amount with the brake pipe reduction. The computer control of the system utilized with the two distinct control circuit with the apply with the relief of the automatic brake with the brake pipe control with the decrease of the brake pipe pressure according with the pressure command with the emergency equalizing reservoir of the brake cylinder control with the circuit control with the increase of the degree of the brake cylinder pressure command by the computer. Alright, refer to figure 1.6 with the 90 psi regulated valve setting, relief of the emergency equalizing weather with the brake pipe with the 8197 of the brake BCP with the brake charge pressure 0 emergency minimum service equalizing weather brake pipe reduced 6 to 8 psi brake charging pressure 10 to 14 psi full zone full service zone 830 to 64 psi emergency equalizing weather brake pressure equalizing reservoir brake pressure reduced to 83 64 psi brake charging pressure increased between 14 58 full service emergency equalizing reservoir brake pipe pressure from 64 to 67 brake charge 58 to 64 psi suppression equalizing reservoir brake pipe pressure 64 67 psi brake charge 58 64 roll reduction 64 psi to approximately 30 psi emergency equalizing reservoir brake pressure self-lapping the brake charge pressure 58 64 handle off 30 psi to 0 the equalizing reservoir reduces 0 the brake pressure brake pipe pressure reduces less than 12 psi brake charge increase at 7579 emergency equalizing reservoir 0 psi brake charge 7579 psi brake pressure reduced to less than 12 psi weight 66 emergency reset note that the equalizing reservoir brake pipe are maintaining against the leak of the all position handle off independent full brake position brake charge 71 73 psi max normal the backup system is 45 psi 25 45 48 psi max and this shows the brake valve operation service application valve positions and notice that these are handle up and handle down levers like that's a whole difference instead of your pan handles. All right, 1 2 3 operation. The following discussion will locomotive with the leave of the cut in position, the operator with the brake, shift with the brake, circle with the brake with the mouse, speed over the power with the first supply with the computer control with the system, assume with the penalty brake application for the moment equalizing whether reduce the 0 psi of the brake pipe pressure with this any with this, reducing approximately 10 psi. The must move with the automatic valve control handle the supplement and supplication position recover the penalty brake application in approximately 10 to 14 seconds. Time to required to reset the depending on the how the brake has been moved to the supplemental position. Minimum of the 10 seconds will always be suppression position. Minimum of the 10 seconds will always recover the handle of the suppression position. With the sure the penalty of the brake does occur should be the brake will be owned and closed with the monetary power loss. Release position figure 1/7 the automatic brake valve controls play for the release position train frequency determined with the internal electronic circuitry with the brake valve with the transmitter with the floor with the brake pneumatic control board with the fiber optic cable. Frequency the with the forward position board and sent with the central processor of the board with the handle position identify the computer read with the indicator with the calculating equalizer reservoir pressure for the handle position the central processor for the and with the EPA with the one board with the level of the out pressure required. EPA one board output for the PWM signal with the ER analog converter that opens with the main normally closed with the support supply with the valve containing main reserve supply air to the equalizing reservoir circuit control rate of the determine the computer. The equalizing reservoir transducer feeds back with the voltage proportional with the equalizing reservoir pressure. When equalizing reservoir pressure with each of the command pressure of the EPA1, the energy of the supplemental magnet valve to maintain the pressure level the constant through the contract control of the analog converter magnet valve feedback with the equalizing reservoir transducer. For figure 1A, equalize reservoir pressure with the KR5EO relay when they connect with the main reservoir supply with the brake pipe circuit with the brake pipe pressure reaches without the pressure to dictate of the equalizing reservoir KR5EO relay moves to lap position. For figure 1.9, main reserve of the flow through the analog converter to the AWE for the ER with the supplemental magnet valve of the equalizing reservoir transducer for the of the analog converter AWE for AW4 with the ER with the existing exhaust magnet valve, and then the place is capacity of the equalizing reservoir magnet valve of the charging the equalizing reservoir pressure pilot with the high capacity of the brake pipe relay valve. The brake pipe relay valve of the KR5EO opens for the main reservoir flow with the normally open brake pipe cutoff magnet valve of the MV53 with the pilot port with the brake pipe cutoff valve is only in charging with the brake pipe pressure of 0 psi with the brake pipe cutoff valve. The scope of the brake pipe cutout valve opens approximately 25 psi with the brake pressure is able to pass through the brake pipe cutout valve. The double check with the valve on opening the PVE. As well with the pilot pressure, the brake pipe pressure, air apply with the PVEM. And with the brake valve control vent with the valve, with the emergency magnet valve with the brake pressure for the airflow of the brake pipe filter and charge with the brake pipe train line with the brake pipe continue with the charge within 1 psi equalizing reservoir pressure for the KR5EO relay valve self-lapping pressure maintaining valve that will maintain brake pressure for the proper operating level of the locomotive consistent with the train under acceptable leakage conditions similar to the 2060 brake valve. For figure 1A with the brake pipe transducer, the brake pipe pressure switch in the line with the brake pipe train brake pressure train line. Brake pressure pipe transducer provide the feedback signal with the computer proportional with the brake pipe brake pressure train line. The brake pipe pressure switch indicate the computer that there is 25 psi or more of the brake pressure or 22 psi or less of the brake pressure. All right, this shows your brake controller release of the air on the forward and so the equalizing reservoir control circuit release position lead in cut out. Your brake valve release in cut in. And then it shows this is your automatic release and charging equalizing reservoir air brake pipe. Alright, B, brake cylinder pressure control with the figure 1 temp of the brake cylinder with the control with the J1 relay valve with the turn of the control with the pressure for the number 16 control valve, the number 16 control valve, the pressure for the second with the analog converter, identical with the equalizing reservoir converter, control with the EPA2 pneumatic control board, brake pipe with the pressure with the brake pipe transducer, with the outpost with the voltage with the computer CP board with the ADZB board, analog digital computer calculator with the brake cylinder pressure based on the level of the brake pipe pressure of the brake pipe, decree of the control board, computer CP command with the EPA2C, PCB. Push the pressure brakes on the rate of the train with the number 16 have the control of the algorithm, the residing with the computer with the program command with the EPA with the board with the up and down with the predetermined rate with the target pressure is commanded. For figure 111, the analog converter with the AW416 supplemental magnet valve over the AW416 with the exhaust magnet valve with the opening exhaust with the 16 number control value with the open control tap with the magnet with the MV16T, double check the valve with the emergency valve, the check valve, and the pilot port with the J1 valve with the exhausting air with the valve with the J1 valve. Position, move the vent, the brake cylinder to the atmosphere. Supply magnet valve remains closed during the number 16 control volume, the exhaust of the number 16 pipe, the J1 valve, the exhausting brake cylinder pressure, after the brake with the control of the number 16 control volume until the brake pressure is at 0. Alright, and this shows the your number 16 control circuit with the release position. Your automatic release brake cylinder pressure control. Alright, application automatic. Refer to figure 113 through 115 with the double position of the brake valve control of the handle with the control of the locomotive with the train brake application. Automatic brake valve control handle is moved with the release and with the position minimum with the equalizing brake reduced by an amount with the proportional handle move with the position automatic valve the different frequency with the generator with the electronic circuitry then the level of the equalizing with the pressure command. Frequency with the fiber optic cable, the isolate with the electrical interview with the fiber optic board over the computer rack with the explain with the relief of the computer board of the fiber optic board with the calculator for the equalizing reservoir pressure with the command with the EPA with the EPA1 board, equalizing the exhaust magnet valve the equalizing reservoir analog converter with the supplemental magnet valve close with the computer control of the roll of the rate equalizing reservoir. Resolve the change of the command pressure of the EPA 1 relative to the elapsed time of the analog converter magnet valve with the solid seat with the type of the valve that may not need not to open fully with a open fully or fully closed with the pressure of the command level of the pressure EPA pair for the pressure depending on the output of the voltage of the equalizing reservoir transducer located with the analog converter. The EPA is fully closed with the supply magnet valve with the desired pressure for the reach of the action, although it's undesired valve to chatter. Pressure functions normally inherent with the digital control system. Refer to figure 116, the equalizing reservoir introduce the energize the magnet valve fully open exhaust magnet analog converter at the control rate of the equalizing reservoir, reducing equalizing reservoir area of the remove the control plane with the brake pipe pressure relay valve with the position of the relay piston in the relay valve position. Brake pressure reduced with the exhaust port for the relay valve with the KR5EO at control rate with the relay exhaust the choke with the brake pipe with the locomotive of the train consider the action total and pneumatic with the brake pipe the pressure is equal to likely left the equalizing reservoir acting the relay down firm the valve slowly with the lap position close with the exhaust port signs of the relay with maintain the valve brake pressure with the level equalizing reservoir the train brake leakage condition. Brake pressure of the also reduced with the DB time with the control valve with the back up of the brake system with the equalizing reservoir and able to reduce the calibrated charging choking within the valve of the brake pipe pressure with the airport creating pressure differential across the valve with the service position of the D-pin. The dynamic braking time with the move to the 10 pipe of the position of connecting the auxiliary reservoir with the number 16 pipe valve with the double check with the valve, the TV port with the PCU, finally with the B16 magnet valve at the point with the flow terminated with the backup system always operated. It should have the curve with the computer controlled brake system unable to apply the brakes. The backup system supply with the number 16 pipe pressure with the lower valve with the J1 relay with the brake pressure. Alright, CPU command pressure time EPA with the supply magnet valve, the exhaust magnet valve, the atmosphere supply pressure with the control pressure with the pressure variable, the rate with the variable magnet valve, the orifice and the maximum tolerance band on the time analog converter control. The next system shows a equalizer circuit control over the minimum service position, lead in and cut in. Your equalizing motor cutter control circuit with the full service position and lead in and cut in. Equalizing motor control circuit with the service lap position, lead and cut in. Your automatic service lap equalizer and braking pipe circuits. D brakes on the control automatic. The figure with the 117, 119 with the stream of the brake drive, with the detect with the reduction of the brake pipe, the relieve the central process of the analog digital circuit, and the computer calculate the required some of the pressure with the command number 16 analog converter EPA 2 with the board with the desired rate of the pressure level. The EPA 2 board respond with the control of the analog converter, the magnet valve, the developing 16 pipe, number 16 pipe, the valve, and the pressure of the main reserve. Supply of the closed loop system with the number 16 pressure with the amount of the analog converter transducer with the number 16 pipe pressure equal to the main pressure of the EPA 2 board slowly over the supply magnet valve. Again, number 16 control pressure will be maintained with the analog converter comparing with the 16T transducer with the EPA 2 output. Refer to figure 120 the main reserve with the airflow for the open through the supply magnet valve of the analog converter AW through the open magnet valve the MV16T double valve the PVE with the number 16 the reservoir pilot port with the high the relay valve the J1 with the number 16 relay reverse reservoir active with the acting the relay valve the J1 position with the moves and all main reserve air path through the relay valve supply of the air brake cylinder with the brake cylinder pressure increase with the match with the number 16 type control pressure similar operating with the KR5EO with the J1 move with lap position clothing the supply with the main reserve with the pressure with the brake cylinder the application complete with the brake cylinder pressure will be maintained at the level of the command with the brake valve control handle is again moved. At this point the engineer can make with further reduction move the automatic brake valve handle towards the full service position 25 brake PSI brake pipe reduction and 10 with the main serve with the brake pipe cylinder pressure achieved. Each suppression position the service position provided notification penalty applicant for normally created the safety control system, the overspeed control circuits, and position brake pipe to reduce the level full service position. Alright. This is your number 16 control circuit with the minimum service position. Your number 16 control circuit with full service suppression position. Your number 16 pipe control circuit lap position. The application of the brake cylinder and control. Automatic application of the brake cylinder control. Alright, handle off refer to figure 121. The 260L brake system, the position when you use the locomotive itself with the trail with the operator for the handle, normally with the computer control brake equipment, the handle does not remove the exhaust man with the valve, the analog converter converted with the magnet valve, or open the equalizing reservoir 0 to PSI, equalizing weather, pilot port, relay valve, the KR5EO, venting of the relay valve of the position, moving the brake pressure, reducing brake pressure, air of the brake pressure, reduce the 10 PSI brake pipe cut off, closes the tapping of the 911 and 9 to 11 PSI of the brake pressure of the train line will also show the CAD display. Alright, this shows the equalizing weather circuit control hand off the position, cut in. Alright, the emergency application, emergency refer figure 122 through 124 with the emergency application, the depth level of the brake for the fast rate, increase the level of braking, increase the brake cylinder level of the brake valve, display for the emergency position, some of the action, take a play for the emergency application. Clear serve the brake, the generator, review the computer, review the fiber optics, over the AE1 switch, over the setting of the emergency end, the signal of the computer, review the SS1 circuit board, above the signal of the computer to energize the emergency magnet valve, the EPA to over the driver board. Exhaust the position of the brake valve with the mechanical opens with the vent valve with the exhaust to 21 pipes connected directly with the pilot port with the pneumatic emergency valve with the backing up actuating mechanism should the emergency magnet valve fail to energize. To ensure the magnet emergency rate of the brake production of the brake pipe charging must be suspended with the handle of the emergency position that can move the AE the micro switch of the action of the engine drive the brake pipe cut off magnet valve the MV53 at the FL1 electrical filter. Note the filter and provide the EMI isolation with the brake valve of the magnet valve. For fitted 125, the equalizing level reduces 0 for the rate of the analog converted with the copy of the KRFEO brake pipe relay to open and break at the valve. The ensure with no rising rise of the brake pipe can occur with even if the cutout valve leaks. When brake valve the emergency with the analog converter breaks off the magnet valve of the brake pipe cut off the engine with the magnet valve of the emergency magnet valve are commanded to energize the opening of the analog converter with the exhaust magnet valve to allow the equalizing reservoir air with the brake pipe relay valve equalizing reservoir to flow through the opening equalizer magnet valve the opening with the analog converter exhaust the magnet valve of the AW4ER with the atmosphere. The brake pipe cut off magnet valve the opening with the brake pipe cut off the valve of the pilot ports, forcing the valve of the loose communication with the brake pipe relay KR5EO. The train line brake pipe the opening converter magnet valve the pilot port with the high capacity of the pneumatic valve. The pneumatic valve vents the brake the pilot the rapid rate with the train tripping the number 8 vent valve of the located the each end of the locomotive propagated the emergency application through the train. Alright. This shows your brake pipe bending of the brake valve, the emergency lead cut in, your emergency circuit emergency position, your emergency circuit release position, any emergency application of the brake pipe control circuit, any emergency application of the brake pipe control. Alright, number 16, control circuit. The referred figure 126 at the same time of the brake pipe to detect with the reduction of the brake pipe with which retrieve the essential progressively analog digital server. The computer count the required brake pipe cylinder to make the number 16 of the analog converter with the EPA with the desired rate pressure level. The EPA board 2 respond with the control analog converter magnet valve developing number 16 pipe volume for the main reserve supply with the closed loop with the number 16 pipe pressure for the monitor for the analog converter with the transducer with the number 16 pressure equal to the diameter for the EPA 2 board slow with the close with the supply magnet valve again with the number 16 control pressure for the maintain with the analog converter by comparing with the number 16 transducer of the EPA 2 output with the figure 127 reserve the valve through the open supply the magnet valve of the analog converter through an open magnet valve through the double trick valve of the PVE to the number 16 reservoir pilot port with the high capacity of the relay valve the J1 the number 16 relay vacuum with the relay valve the J1 position with the move the piston move the piston of the main reserve path through the relay valve of the supply with the air brake some of the brake cylinder pressure increase until the match with the number 16 pipe control pressure similar happened with the KR5E. The relay the J1 move the lap position control of the supply of the main reserve pressure for the brake cylinder. The application complete with the brake cylinder will be maintained a level command with the brake valve control handle is moved. With the brake pressure prevented with 0 to remove the pilot port the PVE valve allowing the PVE to move the normally open position main reserve pressure flow through the high capacity valve of the ALV set in 79 PSI of the PVE double track valve of the J1 relay valve number 16 pressure for the query is quickly 79 PSI of the J1 relay valve 79 PSI of the brake cylinders. This primary system of the emergency brake cylinder pressure for the whole pneumatic analog converter AW416 is also supplied with 16 pipe pressure 16 pipe pressure for 79 PSI outside opposite side of the double check valve of the PVE. The brake valve of the fireman emergency valve of the emergency application provide an intermediate power dynamic braking knocking down de-energize the cutoff relay with the computer program logic train separation out curve of the brake pipe rapidly with a zero cut of the emergency brake throughout the train of the cutoff relay drops out. Alright, the number 16 control circle, the HO and emergency position. Then you have the emergency application, the brake cylinder control. Alright, emergency application fireman's valve. Refer to gear 128 of the brake valve, the relief of the position brake pipe with the valve 50 psi emergency application will cover the activating the fire brake, fireman's brake valve, the emergency of the brake, with the brake and reduction, and curve the brake pipe transducer, sends the brake pipe drop the output of the signal of the computer with the ADD board with the central processor, the depth of the input with the emergency application of the brake pipe, cut off the valve, the MV53, the COR or the cutoff relay de-energize the local power with the reduces the idle. Emergency application of the train separation for the gear 128, the same fireman's valve, the emergency except the COR and cutoff relay, but does not de-energize the 20 seconds, does not de-energize for 20 seconds, locomotive power reduces to idle for the cutoff relay de-energizes. Alright, the fireman's emergency and train separation brake valve and release and service suppression, and I'm sorry we don't go over these notes, but you can download this file number IP157CPDF. Automatic application bail off in front of gear 129 for the 132 for the automatic brake application is of aligning with the ball ring of the brake with the hand with the position of the direct main reservoir pressure of the rapid of the train line actuating pressure with number 13 psi. Start with the number 13 pipe. When actuated with the brake valve, the independent hail of the bail ring with the clove of the micro with the single input to the SSI circuit board with the ISO with the output of the computer. Pneumatic circuit board view the BEA with the dynamic braking 1. Pneumatic circuit board with the MV magnet shut valve with the MV3 13F with the energize the M magnet valve with the MV13E to energize the main reservoir pressure direct with the M magnet valve 13 and 13F and 13 cut out V valve with the main reservoir. 10 psi with the 13 cut off valve opens connecting the main reservoir and to the magnet valve with the exhaust valve with the filter of the actuating pipe where the pressure quickly charged with 130 140 psi. Will travel the air travel the trailing units with the traditional 26L equipment with the 26F control with the actuating with the pipe blade with the quickly for the brakes. The trailing units control computer controlled braking equipment. The pressure would sense the pressure with the PS13 with the PS13 with the clove with the 20 psi, 25 psi, including the pressure setting with the signal of the computer with the BEA, pneumatic control board, release the automatic brake. Leading you with the central process command with the EPA with the pneumatic control board with the relief of the number 16 pipe with the pressure with the analog converter, exhaust of the magnet valve with the term of the drive with the J1 relay relief. They refer to the release for the operation along with the brake valve of the bail ring of the reserve pressure will exist for the actuating pipe. Note with the bail off continue with the longer with the 40s for the actuating pipe with the brake cylinder pressure restored with the prevent the tapping with the bail off the ringer. With the bail relief of the bail off, the switch opens with the signal computer with the energize the magnet valve with the M13 size and energize the MV13E. The actuating pipe quickly vents through the exhaust of the magnet valve with the MV13E through and atmosphere of the pressure of the magnet valve with the MV13E and 13 cutoff valve is ventilated with the 13 cutoff valve magnet valve the E13S the exhaust. As the pressure reduced to below 7 to 8 psi, the 13 cutoff valve that closes the isolating actuated pipe for the exhaust brake cylinder is not restored. Alright, automatic bail off leading bail off located service emergency application normal positions. Automatic bail lead off the unit off the bail off relief service application emergency normal position. And then we have the automatic off the automatic piping pressurized lead unit. And then you have your automatic bail off the actuating vented lead unit. Alright, K position automatic for brake with the refer to figure 133 as 20 cell brake equipment the computer control the braking system with the respond with the chain of the brake pipe pressure of the brake relief of the brake in press with the increase the level of the brake decrease the level of the computer control brake out and the equipment of the brake pipe transfer the reduce the brake pipe pressure the direct for the system with the level of the release brake cylinder pressure. The trailing position of the emergency application for the relief the automatic shift of the brake application operation with the trail mode with the brake pipe transfer with the relief of the brake pipe pressure rate of the drop demonstrate with the emergency application has been made out in this unit. Brake cylinder pressure the same as the Julie unit releases the same as the holding unit. And the trailing operation bail off figure 134 through 136 with the trailing unit of the magnet valve of the MV13E magnet valve, the energy of the computer valve, the pressure increase with the 13 cutoff valve, pneumatic valve. Yeah. With the normally closed with the pressure 25 psi of the signal with the bail off the braking of the unit with the 16 number pipe number 16 circuit.